Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Today I'm signing an executive order to close school buildings to students for the remainder of the calendar year.
Breaking here at noon, students will not be returning to their classrooms the rest of the school year. The governor shifts solely to remote learning as the coronavirus outbreak continues to grip Michigan and the entire country.
Thanks for joining us this noon. It is the decision that parents across Michigan and students and teachers as well have been waiting for. The governor making that announcement about an hour ago that in-person learning in school buildings will be suspended for the rest of the school year. But she says that no students will be punished because of the virus, promising also high school seniors will graduate on time. Let's get to Sean Lay joining us now with more on that news conference. There are also some guidelines that go along with this for how districts will handle it, Sean.
Good afternoon, Rhonda. Look, I left home this morning as a father. My kids were doing their homeschooling and I knew this was coming, but I also just got off the line with a number of parents. They too knew this was coming, but the reality is setting in that this is reality. Schools are not reopening. The governor is saying her first priority is protecting families from the spread of COVID-19. Her executive order closing all school buildings unless restrictions are lifted. This is having a huge impact for students, of course, for their parents, for their districts who now have to come up with a plan going forward for the next couple of months here to ramp up learning. And what is that going to look like at home for you and your child? Let's first get to the governor with what she had to say about this major announcement.
All school buildings will be closed for the remainder of this school year. This doesn't mean our kids will stop learning. Each district must develop an alternative learning plan for students to continue their education during this time. Plans will be different based on district. The plans will be locally driven and reflect the best interests of the kids in their communities.
Now, the governor hit on just a few of the guidelines that are now being set for each and every individual district in the state to follow as they come up with their own plans. We're talking about learning by mail, by phone, on the phone with your teacher, or online. If your district's plan relies on online instruction or some online instruction, the governor is saying the district has to ensure every student who needs it has access to an appropriate device with the ability to connect to the internet. Also, high school seniors and parents of high school seniors will be given the opportunity to graduate this year. Also been speaking with the head of the teachers union for Utica schools. That's the second largest district in the state. She says she knew this decision also was coming in her heart. She feels like it is the right decision to protect staff, students, families, and everyone else involved in school. But she also is interested in every minute detail that is going to come now from the Michigan Department of Education, and also just got off the line with a mom. She's got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. She's doing homeschooling right now. And Rhonda, she says her heart is breaking because their relationships with their teachers are so close. And that's like for so many parents and their students out there right now. So much more. We'll have reaction from unions and districts and many more parents coming up on Local 4. Back to you.
All right, Sean, thank you. Today, Governor Whitmer said that the state may hit its peak of coronavirus cases, but not for about a month, late April, maybe even up to early May. So here's where we are right now. At last update, which was on Wednesday, there were 9,300 cases confirmed here in Michigan, slightly over that. Also, 337 people have died from the virus. Overnight, we learned one of those deaths was a DDOT bus driver. The state's top medical expert, Dr. Janae Khaldun, who was there with Governor Whitmer today, says that those numbers are going to go up this afternoon and expects the next few weeks to be especially tough in terms of the number of cases and deaths. And she has this urgent request from all of us.
Given the expected trajectory of COVID-19 in the state, we will likely need additional facilities. We will also need additional medical professionals, doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, physician assistants, and others to staff them. Please, if you have the skills and you are available, go to our website.
Once again, as you heard there, if you do have these skills that our state needs so much, we have a list of skills for you. There's a link on our website that Dr. Khaldun mentioned, and you can find that at clickondetroit.com. Please help if you can. The coronavirus is also devastating the job market. More than 6.6 million people have filed for unemployment. That was last week alone across the country. It's worse than analysts were even expecting, and it shatters last week's record-breaking 3 million claims. Now, the AP reports 311,000 people just here in the state of Michigan alone have filed for benefits. But to put this all into perspective nationwide, before this outbreak, the highest week for claims across the U.S. was 1982, 38 years ago, when there was just 695,000 people that filed. Even with that unemployment surge, stocks opened slightly higher today. This is where it stands right now. Stocks are wavering between small gains and losses. We will have an update when the markets close this afternoon on First at 4. And running out, sources are telling NBC News that the federal government's stockpile of masks, gowns, and other protective gear are nearing depletion. But as Tracy Potts reports, the fight continues on Capitol Hill.
Nancy Pelosi and President Trump on the same side on this one. We'll tell you about that. But first, the critical hunt for protective gear for first responders, healthcare workers dealing with this virus.
Nurses protesting in San Jose, healthcare workers across the country in fear.
I worry about taking this home to my family.
There's not enough protective equipment to go around as they fight the coronavirus.
Tell the governors, get it yourself if you can from your local companies and your local warehouses.
President Trump says the federal government and states are in a bidding war as manufacturers jack up prices. Two sources tell NBC the national stockpile is now nearly depleted.
The only weapon we have is the social distancing, and we've seen evidence that social distancing can work.
I know it's difficult, but we're having a lot of suffering, a lot of death. This is inconvenient from an economic and a personal standpoint, but we just have to do it.
Florida's governor took heat for not pushing social distancing to clear crowded beaches. Now he's issued a stay-home order after outpacing 45 states with the most cases.
It makes sense to make this move now.
The USS Teddy Roosevelt near Guam is offloading 2,700 sailors after nearly 100 tested positive.
Once the virus gets on a ship like that, it's going to spread.
On Capitol Hill, Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell is saying no to a fourth coronavirus stimulus with money for health care, housing, transportation. After approving $2 trillion, he's questioning how to pay for more.
As of today, the U.S. is around 5,000 deaths related to the coronavirus, and the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, says until that number goes down to zero, until there are no new cases happening, the U.S. must continue to practice social distancing. I'm Tracy Potts.
And we hope that you will join us right here on Local 4 tonight for Governor Whitmer's town hall at 7 p.m. From hospital preparedness to unemployment benefits to the most recent announcement on school closures for the remainder of the year. The governor and other leaders are going to be answering your questions on every aspect of the coronavirus pandemic, especially as it hits the Metro Detroit area. The live town hall meeting is made possible in partnership between the television stations here in the area. Devin Skillian will be joined by Huel Perkins, Carolyn Clifford, and Governor Whitmer for this unprecedented event that affects us all. You can submit questions for the governor at clickondetroit.com. We have a link for you right there on the homepage. We do want to switch gears because one of the best things these days is just to get outside, get some fresh air, go for a walk, ride the bike. The kids can get out for recess, Brandon. It's a perfect day for it.
Yeah, we are looking at bright, beautiful sun, and you don't need me to tell you that, I guess. So good afternoon, Rhonda. Good afternoon, everybody. Let's get outside and get that vitamin D. We've got temperatures around 55 degrees and highs near 60 as we head through the afternoon hours. So what does your weekend look like? We're looking ahead. Back to you, Rhonda.
New at noon.
Thank you, Brandon. Still to come, the emotional moments that shows the toll this crisis is having on families. An NBC reporter covering the coronavirus outbreak in China finally reunited with her son after nearly 2 months.